Ceramic or radiant stoves hide their heating elements under a smooth glass surface. If one of the burners is not heating up, then it could be a faulty element, damaged wires, or a faulty switch. Electric stoves are pretty simple at a base level. When electricity passes through the heating element, the resistance in the material generates heat. Each burner is on a separate circuit and is controlled by an infinite heat switch. When you turn the dial, the switch closes, letting 120 volts travel through both sides of the element. This provides the necessary 240 volts. One side of the switch will remain closed, which will power the cooktop indicator light. The other side of the switch will open and disconnect power once the element heats up. It will cycle on and off to maintain the set level of heat. Over time, the contacts can warp or might not close properly, preventing power from reaching the element. Alternatively, if the coil burns out or if the limiter is faulty, then the element won't work. Some ceramic stoves have dual and triple ring heating elements. These work in the same way, but will have an extra set of terminals for each additional coil. Each component can be easily tested for continuity with a multimeter. A continuity test will determine if there's a continuous path for electricity to flow through. Without continuity, the burner will not heat up. Always be safe and disconnect the power at the breaker and unplug it from the receptacle. To remember where each wire goes, it's best to take a picture for reference. Now disconnect the wires. On the switch, you should see a few terminals marked L for line, H for heater, and P for an indicator light. Reach to the front and turn the dial to the maximum heat setting. Set the multimeter to the ohms or resistance setting. Now check for continuity between the L1 and H1 terminals. The multimeter should display a reading between 0 and 1 ohm. Then check from L2 to H2. If there is no reading and no continuity in either test, then the switch is faulty and will need to be replaced. If you're testing a switch for a dual ring element, then the terminals will be different. If you see an extra H1 terminal, then test for continuity between L1 and H1A, then L1 and H1B. Now test between L2 and H2. On some models, the power terminals are labeled P1 and P2. The heating circuit terminals are 2, 4, and 4A. If there is no continuity across any of the pairings, then the switch has failed and will need to be replaced. If the switch passed all the tests, then move on to the element testing. From the back, we can test the wires and the surface element together. Find the wires that were plugged into the H1 and H2 terminals. Now test for continuity. For dual ring elements, test the wires that were connected to H2 and H1A. Then test H2 and H1B. In some models, you'll be testing the wires from terminals 2 and 4, then 2 and 4A. If the element has continuity and the switch is good, then it could be just an issue with one of the connections. So make sure that the wires are secure when you reconnect the switch. Now, if there's no continuity, then it's best to isolate and test the element directly. You can see how to do this in more detail in the video link below. For more troubleshooting videos on water heaters, furnaces, and appliances, then subscribe to our channel. And if you need help, you can call or visit our AMRE location to talk with our knowledgeable staff. Thanks for watching.